Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American supernatural horror film from 2019, titled The Assent. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The movie begins with a found footage segment showing an exorcism where a young boy is being freed from a demon by a priest. There is usual chaos during the exorcism with the child struggling and resisting, until tragically, the boy dies, leaving the priest devastated. The scene then shifts to a man named Joel, a single father trying to rebuild his life after his wife's death in a car accident. Joel works as a mechanic, and battles with schizophrenia, experiencing visions of demons while also trying to support his son, Mason, both financially and emotionally. Joel also hires a babysitter named Cassie, to look after Mason while he's at work. Their home is adorned with Gothic decorations, including pictures of demons and monsters on the walls, and furniture adorned with graffiti. Joel regularly visits his therapist, Maya, who provides medication to help manage his schizophrenia. She also works as a child welfare worker to ensure Joel is caring for Mason properly. If not, Mason will be taken away from him by authorities. One night, while they're having dinner, a doll placed in a bird nest starts shaking on its own, and the door mysteriously opens. Later, after Joel tucks Mason into bed, he heads to his art studio. While there, he hears strange noises coming from Mason's room. Investigating, he finds Mason fast asleep, but notices one of his toys, named Camper, on the floor with one of its eyes removed. In another scenario, after preparing dinner, Joel heads upstairs to call Mason, but he discovers his son talking to something unseen. Mason warns his father not to make him angry before heading to the dinner table. Joel checks Mason's room but finds nothing until he notices a shadowy figure in the dark, which Mason describes as a man with goat-like features walking like a dog. The next day at work, Joel calls Maya to ask about the hereditary nature of schizophrenia. When Maya questions if it's about Mason, Joel quickly denies it and ends the call. Meanwhile, the priest, involved in the failed exorcism, leading to the boy's death from the beginning of the film, is released from custody amidst protests and media demands for his prosecution. The priest's name is Father Lambert, and his assistant, Brother Michael, has come to pick him up from the prison. Michael reveals to Father Lambert that the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith has issued an indefinite suspension of his clerical duties due to public uproar, advising him to distance himself. On their way, Father Lambert notices a figure resembling what Mason described to his father behind a tree, but he dismisses it as his imagination. At Michael's house, they watch footage of the last exorcism Father Lambert performed. Father Lambert immediately pauses the footage when the possessed boy starts speaking in a strange language, in Manuum Figuli. Meanwhile, at Joel's house, during dinner, Cassie announces her decision to stop babysitting Mason, and reveals she is leaving for college. While her intentions are good, Joel feels frustrated by the short notice, knowing he'll struggle to find another babysitter given his unstable job situation. He shouts at her in frustration, and surprisingly, Mason does the same but in a demonic tone. As Cassie is about to leave, an object moves beside her, and she senses a very strange presence around her. Concerned about Mason's behavior, Cassie visits Brother Michael for help, and mentions the presence of evil energy in the house. Despite her unease, she urges them to go help Joel's family before leaving. Meanwhile, as Mason is playing in his room, a set of bones falls on their own. Mason tells his dad that the figure keeps moving them, and points at his cupboard where the figure is hiding. Joel decides to take a picture of the cupboard to show Mason there's nothing there, but Mason insists he knows what he saw. Later, while sleeping together, Joel has another hallucination where he sees the entity moving towards them. He snaps a picture, but when he looks at it, the entity isn't there. Joel heads to the bathroom, manages to take his medication, and wash his face before the hallucination stops. While going through a book about schizophrenia and the shadow man, he notices something going upstairs. Joel grabs his camera before going after it, and eventually sees the entity in one of the rooms. He takes a picture of it, but when he looks again, the entity is gone. Suddenly, he sees the entity before it moves towards Mason's room and shut the door. The next day, Father Lambert and Michael prepare to go to Joel's house, and after driving for some hours, they eventually reach the house. Knocking at the front door, they receive no answer. However, Joel is inside still suffering from the hallucination. Father Lambert peers inside and sees the entity. After regaining his composure, Joel attempts to reach the door but falls downstairs, prompting Brother Michael to break the door. Shortly after, Joel regains consciousness, and Father Lambert describes the place as a breeding ground for negative energy, but Joel is only concerned with his son. He goes to Mason's room and sees him looking possessed. He tries to talk to him, but Mason remains quiet, prompting Father Lambert to sense that something is wrong. After showing the priest the pictures he took, Joel learns that he has been marked by the devil, and the only way to be free is to start believing in Jesus. However, Joel is resistant to the idea and doesn't want to believe. Father Lambert reveals that the reason the devil keeps getting stronger in his home is because Joel doesn't believe in its existence, and attributes his hallucinations to science. Now, the only way to free themselves is through exorcism, which is highly illegal. Joel admits that all he wants is for Mason to be safe, and Father Lambert promises to banish the demon from his son within 18 hours. Later, Dr. Hawkins, an associate of the priest, shows up to check on Mason. During the examination, she initially finds nothing wrong with Mason. However, upon further inspection, she starts hearing voices inside him, indicating the third sign of possession. Father Lambert explains that there are 6 classic signs of possession, one of which they witnessed, the aversion to the cross, manifested by Mason rolling his eyes. Suddenly, the lamplight starts flickering, and Joel sees a vision of Mason warning him not to listen to Father Lambert before disappearing. They rush to Mason's room, where he is awake, sitting on his bed, and is fully possessed. Mason begins speaking in Roman rites, and attacks Joel, but the priests manage to save him. Initially hesitant about the exorcism plan, Joel eventually agrees after witnessing his son display otherworldly characteristics. Father Lambert instructs Michael to fetch the exorcism items and tells Joel to restrain his son. After restraining the possessed Mason, Joel has another hallucination as he is about to leave the room, but Father Lambert brings him back to reality. Shortly after, Michael arrives with the exorcism items, and as they get ready, Father Lambert instructs Joel to stay put. Dr. Hawkins assures him that if anything goes wrong during the exorcism, she will be the first to stop it. As the time for the exorcism approaches, Father Lambert, Dr. Hawkins, and Michael head to Mason's room, with Joel watching through the door hole, anxious and hopeful for his son's deliverance. As the exorcism commences, the devil within Mason starts screaming after being poured with holy water. Joel's hallucinations begin, and he picks up his camera, noticing a lamplight in a room shaking. Joel enters the room, and his gaze stumbles upon something in the dark. He decides to take a picture, and when the camera flashes, the entity becomes visible, startling Joel. He tries to take another picture, but this time the entity grabs the camera. As Joel runs away in fear, his hallucinations worsen, plunging him deeper into a state of confusion and terror. During the exorcism, the demon spews blood on Michael, causing him to quickly rush out of the room, and Father Lambert halts the exorcism to tend to Michael's condition. Michael cleans himself up in the bathroom, and Joel provides him with a new cloth, offering to wash his stained clothes. While Joel is outside drying the cloth, his therapist, Maya, visits unannounced to check if Joel has been treating his son properly. At first, Joel is reluctant to tell Maya what is going on, but eventually, he opens up about the exorcism on Mason. In response, Maya threatens to alert the authorities if he doesn't stop the exorcism within 15 minutes before going to check on Joel's medication. As the intensity of the exorcism increases, Joel has another hallucination where the entity takes the form of his deceased wife. Eventually, the exorcism is halted, and they rush out of the room, and it becomes evident that the devil within Mason has grown stronger and has injured the group. Despite knowing that Joel's therapist is present, Father Lambert suggests that it is time for the assent, indicating that whatever happens now will be permanent. Lambert assures Joel that he won't rest until he banished the demon from his son, and they head inside Mason's room to continue the exorcism. Meanwhile, Joel looks for Maya, who is now aware of the pictures Joel has of the demon. Despite the evidence in front of her, Maya suggests that what he is seeing is just a natural cause of technology. However, Joel remains certain of what he is experiencing. Maya calmly tells Joel that what he is seeing is just in his head, and that she can help him get rid of it. She asks Joel to agree to take her help, which he does, and that's when the truth is revealed. The therapist is actually a demon, and by accepting her help, Joel unwittingly agrees to become possessed. Joel wakes up from the nightmare and rushes to Mason's room, only to find Michael tied to his bed. He searches for Father Lambert and Dr. Hawkins but can't find either of them. Shortly after, he encounters Maya, who tells him that the exorcism only brought him closer to her. Maya reveals that she chose him because of his past life, and reassures him not to worry about Mason, as someday he will make his own choice. There are 3 stages of possession. The first is the demon making its presence felt, which Joel experienced through his hallucinations. The next stage is affliction, where the demon takes possession of the host, evident in Joel's quiet, strange behavior. The third stage is assent. Without it, the demon would be unable to take Joel's soul. The priests were not there for Mason but for Joel, and during the exorcisms, they were calling out to him to come to their side, but Joel was waylaid by the therapist. As the movie concludes, Mason, now grown up, is living with Dr. Hawkins, and it is revealed that Joel is deceased. Dr. Hawkins comforts Mason for his loss, and acknowledges his rough childhood. After she leaves, Mason places a picture of him and his parents in a box where he keeps his childhood belongings. As he moves away, the entity can be seen behind him, indicating that he is in danger of being possessed again. Okay guys, that's all the recap about the Assent from 2019. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.